Let's see. Okay, so what holds up in 26 June of this year? It's a very specific question, but it's a question that can be just hold it upon, and moving on, it can actually help through the numerical understandings of what the calculations are. If it's a thought process that's being shared, it will be very good to actually share it, or maybe the focus might not be the sharing, but mostly of what is being heard. Now, what is being heard is the usual norm of it, not the usual way of thinking, because the usual way of thinking becomes a societal, social understanding of what a certain morale is. But here comes the breakdown of it, being that what is the moral, not being the question as to what is actually habitual. And the habitual factor of it comes with this certain topic. Let's explore it. We talked about protocols in the previous video. At the very end, I ended it with this is a protocol. Now this is called protocol architecture. Task of data transfer is broken up into some modules. Why? How do these modules interact? For example, file transfer could use three modules, and file transfer application, communication service module, network access module. And the file transfer application is basically the transfer of the file, but it's a file transfer application, in short called app, an app, which means an application used to transfer a file. Communication service module is where the communication occurs. It's a module where basically the whole thing, the communication service, is being represented, which means a communication service. And therefore the next network access module is a module where the network access is being made, which means the access to the network, the accessing of the network accessing we're talking about. I'm defining it in very short terms, but it's basically the general idea of it. A real world example to protocol architecture, philosopher, translator, secretary architecture issues peer-to-peer protocols are independent of each other. For example, secretaries may change the commitment medium to email, or commuter medium, whatever that might mean, or the translators may agree or using on using another common language, each layer as a header. So location A is an example of "I like rabbits" as a message. Then this is we're talking about location A in 3. Okay, so A in 3 is this. But then again, location B contains uh, another language where we can pronounce it, I guess. J may begin with Leplins is a philosopher. Okay, it's being put as a philosopher. This is 3 of location B. And then L Dutch. Ik vind konjnen leuk. Information for the remote translator in 2 of location A. And location B's 2 is a translator L Dutch. Ik vind konjnen leuk. It's the same thing basically being said. And number 1 is facts L Dutch. Ik vind konjnen leuk. Information of the remote secretary facts hashtag this L Dutch ik vind konjnen leuk as one. But in a way, it feels like it was just being copy pasted, because it's the same information being said, it's the same amount of letters. In a way, maybe just using a different language. To give an example of a philosopher, translator, and secretary in location B might have been more viable, but then again, in location A, it was just said as "I like rabbits." Does it translate to "Ik vind konjnen leuk"? It's up to the translator, or it's up to researching. We can research it up if we want to, but as we don't have time, this is certain idea of a real world example to protocol architecture according to this note called intro in detail in protected view PowerPoint. And let's go to the next topic. We might have a very short amount of time left, but we might end it with a good note.